I don't think we need to reintroduce you. This is Scott. We'll all do it anyway.
This is Scott.
Yeah.
You say we're back with Scott.
We're back here with Khan, the tiger from, I would imagine, maybe Asia.
Asia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to tell us about him?
And so you've got so you've got the big cats, which is what we talk about, and also you've got like 4 different kinds of big cats, so you'll have the tigers.
Yeah.
Here, and then of course you've got the king of the jungle. You've got the lions. Yeah. So we've got lions and we've got tigers. We got jaguars, and leopards, which look very similar, right? But there is a little bit difference there with the spots on them, and such. But that's like what the lion kind is. Okay, so as we do that, so as from a creation standpoint, we talk about them being of the same kind, and all. So we can talk about that because it says that God made them according to their kinds.
Sure.
And so from a creation standpoint, from an evolution standpoint, they talk about, so the lions evolved from like the leopards and things like that, right? Or whatever, or they'll have a common ancestor.
Yeah.
Right. And they evolved and they gained these features. Whereas from a creation standpoint, what we'll say is yes, there was a common lion kind, but that lion kind had all the DNA in it.
Right.
For every one of these.
Right.
Okay. And then that DNA got separated. So to your point, tigers in Asia, lions are in Africa. You've got jaguars, which are in South America. So they're separated.
Sure.
And so because that DNA got isolated like that, then as they breed in that area, it develops certain traits and features, and
yeah,
but they're all related.
Yeah, well, you see that in humans. I mean, you go to the plains of Africa, people are tall and skinny, and you go to people where the guy climb mountains, their legs are short, they're a little bit stockier. So
right.
Those changes happen throughout all the families.
Yep, exactly. So you've got that and everything. So tigers, largest of the lion kind, could be big cat kind, right? So could be 10 foot long, 800 pounds.
10 foot long?
Yeah.
10 foot, like
I'm thinking
from tail to head?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Lions would be like 8 foot, so a little bit shorter. All right, 600 pounds. So less.
So you got a chance with the lion.
No, you really don't. Okay. And then you've got jaguars, could be 350 pounds, 6 foot long. The leopards are more like 200 pounds, 6 foot longish, as well. So smaller animals, but you can see the biggest.
So the smallest one's just smaller than me. It's still pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they got a claw. Yeah. What are some of the design features that are similar with all of them?
So let's just pick up on something else though that I've got here,
okay.
because we got them in Africa and in Asia, like I said, in these different areas. But the tiger of the big cat kind, okay, you can say, well, the tiger is the largest. But have you ever heard of a liger?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was hoping you.
Do you know how big a liger gets?
No, I know they're bigger than any cat I've seen.
Right. So that's a picture of the liger.
That's not photoshopped either.
No,
that's a legit human standing.
That is a legit human standing next to the liger, right? So 900 to 1,000 pounds. Okay. Bigger.
Yeah.
Wait.
A lot bigger.
I'm bigger than the lion and the tiger. How does this? And is this evolution? Question would be right. So is this evolution? Is this a new species? Is this? And what I would, from a creation standpoint, right? We sit there and we say, no, this just proves a couple different things. First off, tigers and lions are related.
Right.
They got to be in the same species to be able to produce offspring.
Right.
So they're related. So the reason why we don't have ligers running around is because we've got tigers in Asia.
Yeah.
And lions in Africa. They're separated, right? The only way they get it is by dialing up on matchup.com and and saying, hey, let's go on the
bigcats.com.
Boom, bigcats.com. There you go. Right? So that would be the thing. So that would be the only way you'd get this, or in a private zoo, like is what happened here.
Okay.
So this is a liger. So lion, that means a lion is the father, and the ger comes from the tiger, so it's the female.
Okay.
There's also, you can breed them and come up with tigons, which is a tiger is a male, and the lion is the female. All right, but you can get things like the lion pards, which is lions and leopards
Okay.
mating,
Like
right? Leopards, right? Are it, and once
Yeah.
again, it just depends.
They're all
on what it
interchangeable
is.
because they're all
All related.
Yeah.
Genetically, they're all
Yeah.
related. It's just that they're separated by
Sure.
location, right? And everything. So that's a picture of that. And so once again, is this now because it's bigger though? Why is that? So genetically, let's just look at it this way. So a male tiger or male lion has a growth hormone that it passes on to its descendants.
Okay.
All right.
I bet you don't think.
Female lion actually has something that is a retardant of growth.
Yeah.
So when they mate, you get the growth hormone, but you get this retardant as well, which restricts it,
Sure.
keeps the lion from getting so large. Now the female tiger
Yeah.
doesn't have the retardant. So genetically, that offspring get the growth hormone from the lion with nothing from the tiger
Stopping it.
to stop it. And so it gets bigger. So this is not, mutations genetically becoming a new species. No, this is cat kind.
Yeah. And it still produces a viable, functional, awesome predator.
Right. Now you argue, why don't we have these guys? And you sit there and say, all right, if you can imagine, right, if you're 1,000 pounds, okay, and 12 foot long, you're going to move slower. You're not going to get as much to eat as some of the others, right, and everything like that. So they'll be more nimble and everything. You're going to be harder to hide. So these guys probably would not survive in the wild.
Yeah. It doesn't look like that thing's pouncing on antelope. Could be wrong though.
So we see this within the tiger kind. We see this within other animals as well. Have you ever heard of a pizzly bear?
No.
You haven't heard of a pizzly
I've never heard of a pizzly. Can you show me a pizzly bear?
I'm showing you a pizzly bear. So this is the pizzly bear.
Okay.
It's an offspring of a grizzly bear and a polar bear.
And they're able to do that because they're from the same
So
family.
bears, they're in the same bear family. So they're able to breed and actually, so when a polar bear, but once again, normally polar bears are up in the North Pole.
Yep.
Grizzly bears don't wander up that way. But if it gets warm enough, they might wander up that way. Or if it's cold enough, the polar bears might actually wander down that way. And they've actually shot them in the wild. And
Seriously?
people going, oh yeah. And people not knowing what it was. They
It's
were
like a
just
ghost
like,
bear.
and then DNA wise, they look at it and they go, oh, this is an offspring of a match.
It's incredible.
So it can happen in the wild like that and everything like that. So have you ever heard of a zonkey?
No.
So a zonkey, what do you think a zonkey is? A zebra and a donkey.
Sounds like a Dr. Seuss.
No, I know, but it's not. No, so somebody had a male zebra and a female donkey in their personal private zoo.
A zonkey's better than its ass, I guess.
Yeah. So they find those names where it's just like, well, I don't know. So you kind of look at them and you see the donkey feature to them, and then you see the zebra stripes on the legs and everything like this. Or if you think about, that and you say, okay, so from what?
What's the reverse?
So what would be so there'd be like a donk bra, right? is the reverse, right? Or you got this, right? Since you can do it with donkeys,
Yeah.
I can do it with horses.
Cool.
So this is a Zorus,
That's cool.
and that is not photoshopped. I looked at this and I was just like, that's like
Yeah, that's
Photoshop
really cool.
stripes, and it's just like that is a beautiful animal.
That is cool.
Okay. So this is what I ask people then as well, as I go, okay, so zebras, how many zebras were on Noah's Ark? How many?
Yeah.
Huh?
I don't know how many zebras. I know there was probably 2 horses.
Okay. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that on our tours, people will say, well, 2. You had 2. We'll be able to say, okay, how many poodles were on the Ark?
I don't know how many poodles. I know there were 2 dogs.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you got 2 of the dog kind.
Yeah.
And from the 2 of the dog kind, genetically, you have all of the different.
Yeah.
So it's not like I got 2 poodles, 2 Great Danes, 2 Chihuahuas. I don't need all of that. That's where people sit there and say, how does he fit all these animals onto the Ark? And you
Right.
say, he's not fitting all the species on the Ark. He is fitting a kind.
Right.
It's 2 of every kind.
And you don't have to do the most the biggest animals. You can probably do just before sexual maturity animals that
Puberty
are
and everything like
smaller,
this. Exactly.
so that
Exactly.
they're ready to go once you get off the boat.
Correct. Although if you read that, you go back and you read the Genesis account, they go on 2x2s, and when you read when they come off on chapter 9, it says, and they came out by families. You look at that.
Okay.
All right. So I'm thinking they've
They're
had,
ready.
right? I mean, you think about it, right? Rabbits are on the boat. Well, they're going to be having babies,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
you're on there for a year. They're going to be having babies,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So there's going to be animals that are going to be coming out.
That's cool.
And they're going to have that with families. Yeah. So that's something. So when we're talking about this, I go, so how many zebras, right? So there's not 2 zebras. There's not 2 donkeys, not 2 mules. It's 2 of a horse kind. And from that horse kind, we get all the Appaloosas, the all the different types of horses that you got from that one horse kind that you got. So that's a cool thing when we talk about that. And once again, that kind of makes sense then from a biblical worldview of how he could have gotten all those onto the ark as well, because you don't need thousands and thousands and thousands of animals to do that.
No.
And so that's a cool thing.
Very cool.
So another deal is when you talk about design features with these guys, okay? Yep. So they are designed in very special ways. So their claws, I'll show you this picture here. How you like that? You talk about them having claws.
Looks like maybe that houses the actual claw.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. So these are retractable to be able to retract those claws back into there, right? So
real life X-Men, Wolverine. That's cool.
So right, and so that they can do that. So if you look at this from a design feature standpoint, it's got a muscle or tendon that kind of comes around this bone, and as that tightens up, it pivots this out to where that comes out. Right? That's an engineering feat.
Yeah.
Right? To be able to have, okay, how do I get this bone in the right spot, this bone in the right spot? Oh, by the way, this tendon to attach to there, it's just like that's a design feature.
It's pretty creative.
It is very creative. And why would you want it to be able where you can retract them, right? Because there's going to be times when the bears or the lions might be playing with their cubs.
Yeah.
Don't want to have those claws, right? The cheetahs really use them when they're running because it digs into the soil and everything this as they're running.
Yeah.
So it gives them speed. So when you see that or whatever, that's once again, that's a design feature. I went on the website and it was showing this stuff and it was talking to kids and it was just like, so design something better is what they were challenging to do, which automatically says that you're designing something, you're putting intelligence into something, right. And also try to find something better than this.
Right. Right. Improve upon this.
Yeah, improve upon this. How can I improve upon this?
Right? There's no other way to do it.
And it's just like, because if you had it to where it's shot straight out, now as soon as it gets pressed back on, it would want to retract. Sure. But if it curls out this way, it's not going to be able to do that.
Climbing abilities,
all those things, and everything like that. So that is one of the features there. And here's another cool feature. So you think about it with a tiger, with a cat. If you had a cat or ever had a cat,
I'm allergic to cats.
You ever have a cat lick you, though, right? Sandpaper.
Yep.
It's like sandpaper, and it's just like. So you think about a big cat, same feature.
Bigger sandpaper,
right? And everything. So this is a picture of his tongue, right? And you see it. This is going back into his mouth. You see all these barbs? These are all these barbs that are faced back towards his mouth. Okay? And so you look at that and it's just like those are the barbs that are dragging across your skin. This is designed to pull meat off of bones. Really? Skin off of meat, right? I've read about lion tamers that go, yeah, they start looking at you and it's just like, it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts at. So we were talking about the eye and the way it's designed, right? And the idea that the light comes in and they've got this reflective material back behind the retina. And that reflective material is the tapetum lucidum. Okay? All right? So it actually light goes through the retina, hits that, and then comes back through the retina a second time. So every photon that's coming in is actually hitting the retina twice. So they're able to see in very dim. So that's what you've got with these guys. That's what you've got with the sea lions when they dive from down. And so then you go, wait a minute, are sea lions they're lions, right? No, so they're not related to the cat kind. Okay. But that would mean that would mean that feature has to evolve twice.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah,
And they're not the only species that has that type of capability. That is correct. Assigned for their
right. And that's the other thing that we find is as you go through this, you find these animals that have, wait a minute, they've got that same feature as this, but they're not related. So that feature has to evolve twice.
Oh,
Like, how does that happen? Right? And so, once again, it just throws more. But if you have a common designer, sits there and says, oh, this animal needs these features, I'm going to design these into DNA. You don't need to have a common ancestor where that comes from. So that's what they do. Awesome.
I love it.
All right,
I love it.
Thank you guys very much.